It's another day in Mayapur, beautiful day. The weather is changing. This is Gangadas, your host, and today is a nice sunny day. Today, very, very auspicious day is Nityananda Trayodasi. It's the birthday of Lord Nityananda, the one who gives unlimited mercy. And no one can escape the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So today we are very, very fortunate. Also, we are very fortunate to have with us a very special person. Is Jiva Daya, who is a wonderful Mataji. She has a lot of tattoo, I can see. She's very attractive. She's very young. She's born in 1968. She's a kid around the block from New York. And New York are a special race of people.
Yeah.
Because it's a big kitchery mix of different people from all over the world. You cannot say New York is America, just like you say Rome is not Italy or
Berlin
Paris,
is not Germany.
So, because it's a cosmopolitan place. Yeah. So, welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome to Radio Mayapur, and today we're going to have a wonderful podcast with you. We're going to ask you some intriguing question, which is in my heart. I'm watching every day Wisdom of the Sages, and I always hear about this, 12-step recovery group.
The Bhakti recovery group.
The Bhakti recovery group. Well, so I say, wow, when I saw you, I say, I am going to ask this wonderful Mataji to come and do a podcast with us. And you agree immediately. So wonderful. So you studied in New York and you met the devotee when you were 13 years old. You were a kid. And then at one point, when you were 23, you decide to go deep into your spiritual life.
28.
28. Oh, sorry. 28.
Oh,
sorry.
28. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your family, where you grew up, what you were doing.
All right.
How was the scene at that time in New York?
All right.
Because New York is special.
Yeah, it is very special. New York is like you said, it's a whole different breed of people. I was raised in an artist family. Both of my parents were actors. And I was raised with a lot of people in the theater, a lot of extra personalities, and a lot of arts and stuff like that in my family, and a lot of mental health issues as well.
Of course.
So, that being said, I was born and raised in the city. When you're from New York, we just say the city. So I was born and raised in the city. I started to get into a lot of trouble when I was younger. I had a lot of anger issues, and I would say a lot of freedom, probably way too much freedom than I could handle.
The only child, or your sister, brother?
I have a brother. So
elder than you or younger than
just
you?
1.5 years older. And
brother,
yeah.
So
and,
was he not protecting you, was not guiding you?
No, he was doing drugs with me and doing all that naughty stuff. We were running the streets together, my brother and I. So we were partners in crime. We had this sort of the same people we hung around with. So I had lots of freedom growing up.
Because your father and mother, they were busy doing something.
Well, yeah, and it was like they were like kind of liberal, like kind of hippies. Like, yeah, let them let them explore, let them do this, let them do that, And I was running.
Figure out what their life, what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in one way, it's good.
In one way, it's good. In another way, it's not good.
Somebody to tell you, hey, there is some limit. You can't go over this. You can't do this, because maybe you end up in trouble. Maybe.
Exactly. And I can say though that even when they did try, I was not listening. There was I was very unruly. I didn't want to ever. Rules to me meant like, why are you trying to strangle me? Like that kind of thing. That
So
don't strangle me.
Kind of. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Mezzo.
Half.
Just a little bit. But when I was about 11, I started to just smoke cigarettes and start to smoke grass, and 11 and 12, and then yeah, and at one
pretty young, 11 years old.
I guess, yeah. When I look at my children who were 11 at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, But actually, I used to steal the weed from my parents, so it wasn't like, yeah.
They were smoking, so
it was kind of like that, yeah. My dad not, but my mom. They were divorced, so my mom lived a few blocks away, so I would kind of, yeah. There's so much to go through. Let me just keep this really short. When my parents got divorced, my mother moved to a very sort of upper middle class suburb of the city and took us with.
Which part of New York you're?
I'm from the Upper West Side.
Not the Bronx, I'm saying.
No, the Upper West Side. But back then in the 70s, it was a very, like you said, it was a kitchery. I mean, you would have like 2 blocks away. Like I grew up like between 97th and 98th in Riverside. And my building was pretty okay, like low to middle class, just, low to middle class income. And then on the sides, between like on 97th and 98th Street going up to West End Avenue, there were just like welfare hotels. I don't know if you know what that is. Like back in the day, it's like single room occupancies. So very mixed. I mean, then the street, and then the street after that was like more rich, and then it was only Puerto Ricans, and then it was just Haitians, and then a lot of Jews, and the Italians were in Brooklyn. Not in my neighborhood. There was no Italians. It was just like Puerto Rican, Jewish, Haitian, Dominican.
Yeah. ¿Habla español? ¿Habla español?
Sí, un poquito.
Todo el mundo habla español.
But only the bad words, which I don't say anymore. But
so I guess also the fact that your father and mother were not together, so they didn't give you kind of stability, maybe.
Yes.
You're kind of
exactly
thoughtful and thinking about what am I going to do in my life? Let me try this, let me try that. Right?
Yeah, I think, of course, looking back, yes, I can say that. Back then, I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't anything conscious.
The flow of friends and people took you in different places, different music, different stuff.
What I'm thinking is, I really believe it's not that my parents were bad parents. I truly believe they didn't understand the person that I was. And if you don't understand your children, you can't really work with them. And I don't blame them for that. But I just know that very early on in life, I remember, I'm going to tell you one little memory, if that's okay. I was sitting under my kitchen sink. I used to sit under this kitchen sink. I don't know why, because I just did. And I was very young. I don't think I was more than 6 years old. I might have been 5. Very, very. And New York has these intense sunsets like here in the Ganga. Super beautiful. And it would go, and you'd see the sun setting down on the Hudson River. My kitchen faced West End Avenue, and there was a huge building there, and you can see in the reflection the sunset from behind in the reflection. And so I watched the sun go down, and I thought to myself in that moment, I got so terrified. I was extremely terrified, and I thought, and I reflected on the reflection, and I thought, what if nothing is real? What if I'm not even here? What if it all doesn't?
Dream.
Yeah. And it scared me. It scared the lights out of me. I was so afraid after that point. I felt like I didn't have safety. I don't know what that was. But so those are the things, that I believe that those are spiritual experiences. And if you had somebody in your life to explain that Vedically, it would have given me a floor. But of course, my parents didn't know that. So, yeah, so that's, so that was like, I think that was
I think
a
also
knot.
make you very introspective the moment you start to think, what if nothing is real, and how everything works, and even like on the reflection, what you say. When I was a very small kid, I was thinking, how is possible this body work? I'm not controlling my breath, and I try to control my breath. I say, I can't control it. How the heartbeat work? How does everything work? I couldn't figure it out, and I was shocked.
Did it scare you or no? Yeah, it's scary.
Scared.
It's a scary thought as a kid because you're like, I mean, even in psychology, they have like, different growth periods and like discovering the me in the world, the separation of me in the world, and all of these things. And that could all be in a spiritual lens.
Of course. See, for me, because I grew up in Rome, so we have weekly, the priest, he comes into our school and gives a sermon, and explain to us about the Bible and Jesus. But when you ask questions to them, they don't know much. They say, no, you have to have faith. You have to figure it out. So it's like, was not very scientific. It was not very spiritual. And this guy was smoke cigarette and say, "You children should not smoke. It's not good for you. Don't start smoking."
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, so I was thinking, what do you mean? I mean, when I grew up, I didn't smoke, but now I should not smoke, so it didn't make sense. Anyway, but tell me, where is the first time you saw the devotee when you were 13?
Yeah.
Was it Sankirtan? Was it Rath Yatra? Was it devotee?
It was Prasad, and it was on the Lower East Side. So I used to go to a club called CBGB's, and I don't know.
What does it stand for?
That's a really good question. Country blues, grassroots, something like this. I forgot. Yeah, it's a club, a small club. I should know this. I should be ashamed not to know this, but it doesn't matter. So, and they would have punk rock hardcore matinees, which would be on Saturdays or Sundays, and they were at 3:00 p.m. and there were Sunday matinees because there was Prasad. So it was Sunday, 3:00. I went to a hardcore show. It was 13 or 14. So there was a homeless shelter right above CBGB's, right above this club. And they used to come and they used to serve Prasad to the homeless. And all of us punks would gather around and let's get some food, you know? So, yeah. So I tried it and I was just like, this is the most delicious food I've ever tried. I don't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was, but it was so delicious. Sunday, they'd be there, they'd distribute, and they talked to a lot of us punks back then. And one of those people were in a pretty big hardcore band called the Cro-Mags. And two of them became devotees, and they sort of starting to spread the word of Krishna through the whole scene. And, I was open to it, but I had no one to explain it to me. And of course, guys will be guys. They didn't really talk to us that much in that way. And I never had anyone to explain it to me. But when I was like 14, I think it took some months. I don't know how long it was, but someone gave me a Gita. And I was like, okay. So I went home and I read it and I was like, I have absolutely no idea what this is. I don't even know how to read it. I didn't know anything. I was like, what is this? What is that?
Names.
And then I was like, what is this letters? Like, what is that? And I had no clue. And I just thought, but these pictures are so beautiful. I ripped them out. I put them on my wall. Wow. And I just had them on my wall. And, a few years later, when I was about 16, friends of mine were Kaustubha Das back then. We were all punks back then. And Raghunath Das, we were
right couple.
Yeah, we were all like in the same thing. And by the time I was about 16, I had heard like, oh, did you hear Kaustubha? His name wasn't Kaustubha, but back then they were like, did you hear that he became a monk? And everyone was like, what? He became a monk of what? Like a monk? And I'm thinking like Christian, like with the head, or the head shaved here, like friar tuck, like something like back then. And no, he became Hare Krishna monk. And okay, wow, and then my life drastically changed. Not in a good way.
Okay.
Not in a good way. So by the time I was 14, I think my parents sort of gave me the ultimatum: either I get a job, go to school, because I was not going to school. I did not like school, and I was in the city on the weekends, because when my parents divorced, like I said, she went upstate, and I hated it up there. It was horrible. It was like conservative. I mean, we got greeted with like swastikas on our barn, like Jew go home, and like we didn't really take offense. We kind of thought it was funny. I didn't even know racism existed until I left New York City. I hadn't even known that it existed. So I was like, is this a joke? Are they playing a joke on us? It was so stupid. Anyway, I never felt comfortable there. Never felt at home there. Never liked the people there. It was just, I just didn't fit in. And so I would just like refuse to come back from the city, because I would visit my dad every weekend. And one Sunday, I called my mother and I said, I'm not coming home. I'm not going to school. And she just said, okay, I will be at the train station on Monday morning at 7:00 before school to take you to school. If you are not on that train, do not come home.
That's it.
And I was like, yeah, I did it. I won. I'm out of here. So
You
that
didn't
was
see
it.
your mother again?
Not till later. But I saw my dad, and he kept saying, hey, you can come and live with me. But my mom was very much, yeah, only with these rules or those rules. And I was like, I don't want any rules. Leave me alone. So I just did it. I hitchhiked across America, got into all kinds of adventures, all kinds of trouble, all kinds of fun. We like hitchhiked with like $6 in our pocket, just like getting chased in Texas, like with shotguns, getting like, and it was crazy. In the 80s, in like 80, what was it, like 80, 83, 84 with blue hair in Texas. That just didn't really go over very well. So, yeah, so it was an adventure. Eventually I wound up going back to New York. And I started playing music. I'm a musician. Oh, well, I would not call myself. I play music,
That was instrument.
bass and drums, and I sing. And but anyway, I wouldn't call myself a musician. I would say I like to play music. Yeah, I'm not like someone who'll sit home and like practice and anything. So yeah, that's how I started with those. You play bass?
Yeah, I play bass.
Oh, cool! I like that. So
Next
yeah.
time you come, if you want, I'll give you.
Yeah, let's jam. I'd love that. So
Well, music is something which is therapeutic, I felt. Oh
my God.
Always.
saved my life.
Like, because when you go into music with other people and you play music, I used to sing blues as well. And, it's something that you really enjoy doing, and it's some kind of expression from your heart or from your soul or something. That's my experience.
It is. And hearing it too. I used to, before I found drugs, I would literally dive into music. It was like my escape from everything. Music saved my life. I can only say that. It just saved my life. Like music it's always been the most important thing in my life until God consciousness and then Krishna consciousness, which is the same thing, but different name. We'll get into that.
What type of music you used to listen? Because I'm from before.
Everything.
Pink Floyd and Rolling
I love all that.
Stones
I love all of that.
Friends Zappa.
Yeah, I love all of it. Love it. Love it all. Yeah, all of it.
So that, because we are all older than you, so we used to.
Well, you're not much older than me. You are not much older than me. You like to say that, but you're not much older than me.
Because that was the 70. You were on the 80. In the 70, a lot of this group came to Rome and played music.
Yeah, of course.
So
well,
we used to see them live.
I also have seen them all live, and but yeah, I mean, it's like I love jazz, I love rock, I love punk rock, I love hardcore, I like house music, I like techno, I like anything that's authentic and good. The only thing I don't really like, I don't like Kenny G elevator jazz. Like I can't hang with that. I just can't hang with that. And I'm not so.
For me, for example, I cannot understand that modern techno music, punk rock. I don't, because in our time there was no punk rock.
Yeah.
The heart of punk rock was the Deep Purple.
Oh, I love
That's
Deep
it.
Purple.
After that,
That was so great.
we became devotees, so we didn't grow. I mean, we didn't follow the spirit, the music when it went to rock and punk rock and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a generational thing. It's also a generational thing. I mean, our generation was angry.
Like if you
We were
hear
angry.
techno,
Yeah.
what is this? It's all computer music.
Yeah.
And it would feel weird. And I remember my grandfather say, what is this music you're listening
To you, yeah,
So
exactly.
I would say the same thing to somebody. Listen, what is this music you're listening?
I say this
It's a
with
generational thing.
my daughter. I had her when I was very young, so I liked her music as well. But my son, he's 19 now, so in his music, I mean, actually, he has a lot of good taste. But the newer stuff that he likes, I'm like, what is that? Like, I have no idea why you would like something like that. So.
But it's a generational thing.
It really is. And I think our generation, especially kids like us who grew up in the 70s and into the 80s, we were angry. It was like the Reagan administration, and we were just like, we were politically angry, and we didn't want love and peace because we obviously saw that it didn't work. And we were from the city, so it was just kind of like, like just, yeah. And so,
but that also is realization that the government was not for the people. They were having their own scheme, their own things to make everybody in the cage, work 9 to 5, and then where are we going? Where are we going?
Then what?
Then we become old and die. That's it. We are part of the machine.
You see, and this is beautiful because, and that's the thing, and that's where I believe when people realize things like that and they're not okay with a system, like a governmental system or a society, how it is, and we see that it is a sick society, we see that it is not healthy what's going on, or not even human that's going on, that it's really cruel and unjust and all of these things. And we saw that as kids and we knew that, but we just didn't have God. And that was the element that was missing for me.
Of course, for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, you can go and fight a battle with the communists or with the fascists, with this Republican or the other one. It doesn't really matter. In the end, it's the same coin, a different.
Absolutely.
It's part of the game. They're playing the game and they're playing with us.
Absolutely. And it's really hard. It's hard. It's also hard politically, not like for me as well, also to just kind of stay out of things politically, especially at the moment. It's just so tense. And I just, if everyone just had a 12-step program and believed in God, things would be so much better. Just,
Absolutely. Since you mentioned this, so you are the founder of the Bhakti Recovery Group. Yeah. So tell us how it started, because I believe you are able to help hundreds and thousands of people with your trying to recover. I know there is AA, for example.
Yes.
Alcoholic Association.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, I never seen, I never said. I saw in the film sometime, but I don't know much about. We used to take drugs and stuff, but it was an experience. We were never addicted to it, So we were just experiencing with our mind and our consciousness. But tell us how you are the founder of this Bhakti Recovery Group, which is very important, I believe. And tell us how it starts and how it operates. When did you start this?
Okay, so in order for me to tell you when and why I started, I have to just back up just a little.
Sure, go ahead.
So,
go back.
So eventually, after all of this stuff in my life, all of this, I started to, kind of sink more and more into tamas, and the tamasic way of life, rajasic and tamasic way of life. And then I started to use heroin, and I started to just use all the street drugs and just get into really bad situations with that. And I wound up in Berlin. Another whole story. We will not get into it. We don't have time for that. But I wound up in Berlin, and I loved Berlin. It was like New York 20 years previous, sort of like that. It was like the old New York. And I really loved Berlin. And I had stayed clean, away from heroin, still drinking, still smoking, doing all that stuff, but not using heroin. And for me, I was like, as long as I'm not using heroin, everything's good. So I eventually had a relapse in Berlin. And this relapse was the hardest ever. This was in 1997. And I wound up, I'll just tell you this story. I have to tell this story because this is a really big part of why I did the Bhakti Recovery Group. And it's the starting point of me finding God. And so I was in Berlin. I had just gotten arrested for stealing food and whiskey so that I could sell the whiskey so I can get my drugs. And it was a February, a very, very unusually warm February day. Like really warm. We're talking like 17 degrees or something like that. Just, so I had like a shirt like you have, or something long just like this on. And I go into the supermarket, I get arrested. I didn't have ID, so they had to take me with them. I started to get dope sick in jail. They had to identify me. I didn't really get arrested they'll release me with a ticket, but they had to hold me until they can identify who I was. So they let me out. It was like maybe 12 at night, 1 in the morning when I got released. And I was so dope sick. I was shaking. I was vomiting. I mean, the whole thing. I was just so sick. And it was freezing. Yeah, I had no jacket. Cool. I had no jacket. I had nothing. I couldn't go back to I don't even want to talk about it. I couldn't go back to this homeless shelter that I was living at because I got into some weird situation with somebody else, and I don't want to go into it, but I couldn't go back, and all of my belongings were there. So I get to the subway platform, and I'm like, I got to get straight. I have to get some drugs. So there's a guy on the platform. I asked him for a cigarette. I start smoking the cigarette, and that's when the train comes, and I was like, I can't put the cigarette out. I need the cigarette. So I get into the train. There's nobody in the train, and I just keep smoking. And then some guy gets in on the next stop. He comes up to me. He starts complaining, and I'm just like, just leave me alone, please. Just leave me alone. And he like hauls off and slaps me. And then I just lost it. And I just started fighting with this guy, like with all of my might, just like, and then these guys in the other car, these 2 African guys in the front car come running, and they're like, are you crazy? You're fighting this girl. Like, are you crazy? She's just a girl, like, and so the train stops. I run out of the train. I'm at the stop I have to go to anyway. And I go down the stairs, and it's snowing. And I'm so cold. And I'm just like, mind you, at that point, I weighed 48 kilos.
Skinny.
I was shooting up heroin and cocaine as much as I can possibly get. I was like fiending, homeless and fiending. So I get to this one street. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because if anyone is out there who can relate to this, it's not comfortable sometimes for me to share these things. But I do because it's service. It's
explaining how you can reach the bottom of everything.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I'm comfortable with saying all of that, but there are certain things like, and I won't say it direct, but I went to the street to get money. And I think you can imagine of how someone in that position can get some money. So there was nobody there. It was completely empty. It was deserted. And
it's snowing, it's cold.
Yeah. And the streets are getting muffled from I don't know if you've been in snow, right?
I've been.
So when it starts to snow and to get a certain amount, maybe a quarter of an inch of snow on the ground, it starts to soundproof. It's like in a soundproof studio. It starts to soundproof.
All the car, everything is cold.
Yeah. And I'm looking down this long street, and then there's these street lights all the way down the street. And I was looking at how absolutely beautiful that looked in that moment. And I was just like, whoa. And I see the snow falling in the rays of light. The street is straight. I'm standing literally in the middle of the street. All I see, and I look behind me, all I see is like my own little footprints behind me. And then just like a dead stop, and then empty. And it was like, in that moment, I didn't know anything. I didn't mean to say anything, but like my mouth opened and the words came out and said, this can't be the rest of my life. That's what I said in that moment. This just can't be the rest of my life. And in that moment, I knew it was done. That I'm done. It's done. And I felt, and I turned around, this was way before cell phones or anything like that. I turned around, there was a phone booth. I walked to the phone booth and I called my dad, collect, on the phone, and I said, Dad, I have to come home. I can't anymore. So it took about 4 days. He sent me the plane ticket. I went home. I cold turkey kicked on his couch and went to a rehab, and I never used it again. That was March 2nd, 1997. I immediately joined a 12-step program called Narcotics Anonymous. I went regularly to our Narcotics Anonymous and our Alcoholics Anonymous, and I continued to have multiple spiritual experiences through the 12 steps. Mm-hmm. And the 12 steps are bhakti. the first step says that we admit we're powerless over alcohol, drugs, and I just say people, places, and things, addictions, anartas, associated behaviors, codependency. It doesn't matter what it is, but we're powerless over people, places, and things, and our lives had become unmanageable. That's the first step.
Recognizing that you are powerless unless
Yes.
somebody pull you out.
Yes, we're not helpless.
Unless you want somebody to help you.
exactly. We're powerless.
Yeah.
We're powerless, just like we are over material nature. I'm powerless. By me saying I'm not powerless, that would be me trying to say I'm more powerful than Maya.
Correct.
And I'm not. So, I mean, and people do have a problem with that word. Like, I'm not powerless. I'm like, yeah, you are actually. You might not be helpless. So if a tidal wave is coming.
Different between helpless and powerless.
Yes, if a tidal wave is coming, you can't change that tidal wave, but you can get out of the way. And that's where you're not helpless. So that's the first step. The second step has everything. So that has to do with I surrender. First step is surrender. I surrender. The second step is faith. So I come to believe that a power greater than myself, Krishna, can restore me to sanity. So I'm going to go into the BRG steps now.
Nice.
And they're all taken. This is not my steps. They're taken from Alcoholics Anonymous, approved from Alcoholics Anonymous, transformed, and bhaktiized.
Number 4?
3.
3. Number 4?
No, that was
You
2.
said
The first is
It's recognizing that you are
you're
more
powerless.
powerful.
The second is that we come to believe a power greater than ourselves, Krishna, can restore us to sanity.
Number 3.
The 3 is I make a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of Krishna as I understand him. Now, the reason why we say, first of all, there's 2 things, conscious and understanding him as I understand him. It is as it is, right?
Yeah, because it's
But-
limited understanding.
Exactly.
It's not
Thank you.
unlimited, but for whatever understanding you
For
have,
wherever you're at.
you understand there is a greater power
Exactly.
than you and you surrender.
Exactly. So it's like, because often people are intimidated, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And there's things, when I first started reading the Gita, I didn't understand all of it. But I was fortunate because I had a 12-step program which taught me, take what you need, leave the rest, and trust that you'll understand it at some point. And that was really so easy for me. Bhakti just was so easy because I had the 12 steps. And I'm going to tell you that devotees who don't have a 12-step program, a devotee can benefit so much. Can benefit so much from it. It takes the Bhagavad Gita and makes it susceptible. It makes it easy. It makes it tangible.
You know why? Because when we start our spiritual life, we go through this transformation. And if you don't have help of the devotees who can tell you these things, like I remember one devotee, Durgama Prabhu, told me, look, you give so many life in Maya, just give one life to Krishna. One life, just surrender.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
And
Every
this is the
moment at a
thing.
time.
Yes, and this is the thing. So, great. The third step, we can say, I make a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of Krishna as I understand him. That this is something that I have to decide on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis, on a second basis.
Absolutely.
And if I don't do that, if I don't realize that I am drowning in this ocean of misery here in this material world, if I don't understand that, there's no way that I'm going to be reaching out for help because I am a dum-dum. I'm a pit bull. Yeah, I'm a pit bull. That means I'm going to choose the softer, easy way out. And as soon if I don't have fiery arrows in my butt, I'm not moving. I don't change because I see the light. I change because I feel the heat. And I move forward when something is bothering me. So I'm learning how to change that now. When you mature in your spiritual life, I think you might know this, we do reach without it getting that bad because we start to learn. It's a process. So I've been clean and sober for 28 years and working on this path for 28 years. And it's not just a book. It's not just a thought or a concept. It's not just like some spiritual path. It's a way of life. It's a choice that I choose every single day. Lest I forget. And I never want to forget where I come from. Never. Because if I do, I'll slip right back into the illusion. So, step 3. You got that. Step 4 is we make a fearless and searching moral inventory of ourselves. What does that mean?
Introspection.
Yeah. That means what's the
wrong
dirt?
with
What's
me?
what's moochie inside?
Yeah,
Where am I moochie?
Where are the anarthas? Where are the obstacles to
Exactly.
me progressing to a higher self?
Exactly. And we list those things. We list our resentments.
Means you have to be a
We
very
let-
truthful to your sense and honest in your declaration of this. And you don't have to show to anybody. Just your
You
own
do. The
exercise.
second step, you do have to show it to other people. Because that's where you learn humility.
Yeah.
But the first, you get that
First you
clear.
write it down yourself.
You write it down. You get all of those things out. We have like lists. Like the AA has a regular list
Have a
where it
big
says,
baggage in the back.
yeah, exactly.
Of anarthas and
Exactly.
stuff. Previous life.
Exactly.
Impression.
Exactly. So, you know, the thing is about Bhakti Recovery Group, the difference in Bhakti Recovery Group is that we don't just say, we don't think that alcoholism is the problem. The alcoholism was a solution to a deeper problem. So we believe in the Bhakti Recovery Group that this whole, whatever it manifests in you, if it's abuse of alcohol, if it's a codependent behavior, destructive behavior, if it's some sort of anartha that just stops you or gets in the way of your Krishna consciousness, something that drags you down, something that makes you back into illusion, things that we keep trying over and over again, and we keep getting the same results. Yeah, and that's what the Bhakti Recovery Group is for. It's open. So that's the 4 steps. So we make a searching and fearless moral inventory ourselves. If we don't do that, we don't know what we have in stock. If we don't know what we have in stock, we can't have a healthy store, right? So you want to, right?
You have to clean your house in order to-
This is it. You got to do that house cleaning. You got to look in the cellar. You got to look what's down there, and you got to bring it up. And now here's the 5th step. And a lot of people are shaking their boots from the 5th step. We admit to God, ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of those wrongs. So after we have that on paper, we bring that up and we share that with another human being, which is usually your sponsor, which is another word for a mentor in our program. And we share
Just
that.
one or in front of everybody?
No, just one. Just personal.
Well, because
The
I know
person
in
of trust.
Alcoholic,
Yeah.
they sit together, 20 people, and they say,
We do.
okay,
Yeah.
I was this, I was
Yeah,
doing this, I
yeah.
was doing that.
This is part of, we tell on ourselves. Because anything that we keep in the dark will haunt us.
Yeah, of course.
You got to bring light
Come
onto
back.
it. Bring
No
light.
problem.
Tell on yourself. Go to me. I tell my sponsees all the time, go to a meeting and tell on yourself. Because it teaches you humility.
Absolutely.
And it teaches others to say, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who has that. You know, that's how it works. That's how it works. So in the 5th step, that's what we do. We admit it in front of God, which is like to ourselves, because often we just lie to ourselves, and another human being, which is super humiliating sometimes. It's humbling to do that. These are some of these things have never been spoken, ever.
Well, in Christianity, we go into church and sometimes
Yeah, exactly.
confession when
Yes.
you don't see the priest, you're in a box and say, okay, son, tell me what's your sin. Well, Father, I sinned. I did this. Say, okay, don't worry. God is forgiving everybody. Try not to do the same mistake. Just few prayers and try to be all right.
Yeah.
But, it's difficult not to make the same mistake because you are addicted to that mistake.
Okay, so-
Or your friends
Yes.
influence you to go and do the same stupid things, which they can drag you down, but everybody, you're scared, you're
Yes,
sissy,
of
you're
course,
this, you're
of
that.
course. But that's where the 8th and the 9th step come in for that. But anyway, so
Slowly,
so we have the first, powerlessness. The second is an act of faith. The third is an act of giving your will and your life over. Another act of surrender, letting go. The 4th is cleaning house. The 5th is telling on yourself in front of God and another human being the exact nature of what those things are. The exact nature. Not a little bit. Exactly. And the 6th step is we become willing to have Krishna remove them from us. It's only by Krishna's mercy that we can do anything.
we cannot remove it.
We can't remove it. So we call it a character defect, whatever you want, an anartha, a character defect. We can't remove an anartha with an anartha. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. We get all the willpower we want. It's only by an act of mercy in the 6th step that we do that. So the seventh step is, so we become willing, right? And so the seventh step is that we ask Krishna to remove them, because often we're not willing. But once we see the truth, once we say we've surrendered, once we've had some faith that Krishna can restore us to sanity, that's the second step. I didn't really talk about that. The word sanity, people have a problem with that. Don't have a problem with that word. Sanity just means Krishna consciousness. Anything else is insane. It's just insane. It's insane. And if you can't say that, then go have fun for a while and come back.
Come and see me some other time.
Exactly. When you're done, come and see me. So, where was I? Seventh step, 6 and 7. So sometimes we're not willing to let go of the things that harm us. We're not willing, or we're not ready.
Because of attachment?
Because of attachment, yeah. So
because we think that this thing can give me pleasure.
Yes.
Correct?
Exactly. Because we think or it is still giving us some sort of pleasure.
Yeah, of course.
We're getting something from it, or we would like to get rid of it.
Or at least we can escape the reality by doing these things. So I don't perceive anymore the pain of this material world. Of the,
Yeah, they have it too good. When you get it too good, when life is too good, it's not good. So we become willing. And that's a lot of prayer. You have to pray to become willing. And if you're not willing, then become willing to be willing. Become willing to be willing to be willing. Then be willing to be willing to be willing to be willing. It's just like, we're just willing.
It's your desire.
Yes, exactly.
Desire.
Exactly. Then Krishna will show us the mercy. And then when we're willing, then we ask Krishna, please remove this. Please remove me. Remove this miserable state. Remove that from me, please, Krishna. Yeah, we cry out for Krishna. I do.
They say if you make one step toward Krishna, Krishna makes 100 steps.
And it's true.
And it's a fact.
It's a life beyond your wildest dreams. When you give your life to God.
Podcast I've seen, and I personally experienced that everything come to a point where you kind of desire to come out of Maya. You desire to know the truth. And Krishna make it possible. If you, in your heart, think, okay, my Lord, where I'm going from this, I can't go anywhere else. I try everything. So that from that point, Krishna revealed himself to you through the devotees, through the scripture, through prasadam, through the Radha Yatra, to the festival.
There's so many things.
You start to meet
it's through everything if your eyes are open.
Yeah, of course. Once you awaken, then you
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise you're blind.
But we have to keep awake. That's the thing, right? We have to keep awake because we forget. I forget. I wake up in the morning, I can forget how beautiful yesterday was if I was sincerely close in my connection with Krishna. And then I wake up in the morning and something happens, like my pipe breaks in the bathroom. I'm cursing in the bathroom. I'm angry. I'm this, and then I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, thanks.
Work on solution.
Exactly. And that's what it's about, just working on those solutions. So, yeah, spiritual solutions to material problems. It's such a... And so anyway, seventh step, we ask Krishna to remove our shortcomings. We ask Krishna to remove our shortcomings.
That through the chanting it happened because Chedodarpanamarjuna.
That'll be the 11th step.
Oh, okay. So you're going through the process.
Yes, we're going through the process now. The 8th step, and this...
The fact is acknowledging the fact that there's some higher power which can help you.
Exactly.
Which is great. It's like if I'm alone at home, you say, call your dad, the dad will come and pick you up and say, don't worry.
Exactly. And trusting that everything works out under Krishna's arrangement. It's all Krishna's arrangement.
Everything is also based on faith, because if you have no faith, let's say, how this God is in the sky, I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And how is he the judge? How is he going to help me? Because I'm horrible.
Well,
bad boy. Bad girl, but...
Yeah. We have to change we have to change that. And you have to be beaten into submission. I mean, I was beaten into submission. It was for me like either, the thing was, it was like, yeah, people were like, oh, it was either life or death. And I was like, actually at that point in my life, death would have been far better than living like that.
Not suffering anymore.
So it was just like either God
or death,
or living like this. Death was like, I would be lucky to die. Like God God hates me so much, he wouldn't let me die. Like I've overdosed 18 times.
Boy, that's a lot.
I overdosed in Palermo once.
In Palermo.
In Palermo.
In Sicily, beautiful place.
Yeah, I love Sicily. I love Sicily. Anyway, another story. So
So 8.
So 8. So after we've done that, right? So we've made, I like to just show you the process. Surrender, faith, let go, clean house, right? Be willing, ask Krishna to remove them. And now here's another one that a lot of people are afraid of. We make a list of all persons we had harmed, with yourself on that, and became willing to make amends to them all.
Forgiveness.
Yes.
Forgiveness?
You have to
Forgive yourself first.
as well. Yes, you have to forgive. And making amends. And make a list
Making
of...
amends means what?
Yeah, so there's a difference between an apology and an amends. An apology is lip service. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I won't do this again.
An amends is living, working amends. I stole money, I give it back. I hurt you, I make it up to you somehow. I neglected my children, I stop from this day forth. I will not neglect my children anymore. You make that, so you make a list of all persons that you had harmed. You and God have to be both on those. I recommend that to all the people who I work the steps with. You put yourself on that list. You put God on that list. You put your family, your friends, and whoever else that you feel that you've harmed through your behavior. And you become...
Sometimes it's tough because you don't even remember what these people you hurt a long time ago.
Yeah, but you have to.
Like
You remember
Jiva Daya,
the. Did you know? Hey, do you know what our nonprofit name is? It's the Jagai Madai Foundation. The Jagai Madai Foundation.
That's amazing, because when they become devotee, the Lord Chaitanya said, "Go and ask forgiveness." He said, "We don't even remember. We were taking drug, or
Yeah, of course.
we were drinking,
Yeah,
we were intoxicated."
Then you just have to. Yeah, you just have to ask. Yeah, you just have to ask God.
You build this gut, and the people will come and take, and you serve them.
This is exactly that. Exactly that. People say, "Oh, then you have to volunteer at a hospital, or volunteer, or do this, or do that." So do something. Exactly. Do something for the betterment of society. And what I love about a 12-step program, and it fits into any religion or tradition or spiritual path, because it is a spiritual path, and it fits into anything. It's like you just take it, put it there, it makes sense.
It works.
Put it in Christianity, it makes sense. Put it in Catholicism, it makes sense. Yeah, so like
it makes you a better person than what you were before.
Exactly. So after we've done that, and the 9th step is we make a direct amends to such people wherever possible.
Whatever you remember.
Yeah, whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So you say sorry, you make your amends, but you can't this is the only example that I really have. Like you can't let's say you had extramarital affairs with somebody, and 20 years later they're still together, and you want to say sorry to their husband or wife. You can't do that. You'll break up their marriage just because you have to deal with that somehow. So, and you usually do that with your sponsor. Your sponsor will tell you, okay, so when you have that 8th step lift, it's a tradition in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. They just call them sponsors.
Mentor?
No, they call them sponsors. They didn't want the word mentor because
and titles are like somebody used to be.
It's a hierarchy, yeah, and we don't want that.
Sponsor means somebody will help you.
Exactly. And the reason is because we understand on a very deep level that we're all sick.
Sure.
And some are sicker than others. And some are a little bit more far than the others, but we're all sick. So I'm not your mentor. I am your sponsor. Exactly. Exactly. And switching seats on the Titanic always and thinking that it's going to be different. But the apologies. The amends. So those are the things. So you have to take that 8th step lift. You take it to your sponsor, and you talk to your sponsor about it. And they either give you the green light, or they say, no, this one you can't. You have to do this or this. So it's really important that you do this with somebody.
Yes. Also, because your mind doesn't take you over and thinking, okay, I forgive me, I can see.
Exactly. You rationalize. Yeah, you rationalize it. Yeah, you need someone to call you on your BS. Your sponsor will be like, no, that's not good enough. So yeah,
That's
so
nice.
it's good. It's good. And it's accountable. You're accountable. So in the 10th step, you remember in the 4th step we cleaned the house, like you said. This is a great analogy. I use that analogy, so it's great that you brought that up. In the 10th step is we continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, we promptly admitted it. This means that
Every day, every moment.
no excuse. You've done your big house cleaning, but your house will get dirty again. You need to dust it. You need to keep it.
That is Chetodarpana Marjana.
Exactly.
Chanting of the holy name.
Exactly. That comes in the 11th step. You're
I'm
good.
always one step
You're
ahead
good.
of
You're
you.
one step ahead.
I didn't know it. It's nice.
So after the 10th step, we step into the 11th step, which is, and this is, let me tell you something about the 11th step. The 11th step is when you reach a point. I would like to live in the 11th step. It's shelter. For me, it's pure shelter. The 11th step, if I can imagine lying at the lotus feet of Krishna, it would be the 11th step. And it is, we sought through prayer and meditation and the chanting of the holy names to improve our conscious contact with Krishna, praying only for his will for us and the power to carry that out. So we're seeking
Living in the light of God, in the knowledge of God, in the mercy of God, receiving the mercy every day, which enlighten us and keep us on the right track.
It's so beautiful. And it's like the most peaceful place for me to be. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to live in the 11th step. That's like kind of like I like to live. And I think a lot of devotees start their devotional life on the 11th step. And some have bypassed all the other steps, which are very important as far as my experience goes. So then we have the last step, which is the 12th step. And that is, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others who are still suffering, and we practice these principles in all of our affairs. So
That's deep. Huh?
we do service. We spread the holy name in that way. We spread the process. We spread the 12-step program. We spread hope. We spread everything.
Do you have any booklet for this?
We have.
No,
I'm not laughing at you. I just think it's great that you're asking, because I was just like thinking like, how should I, because there's so much ground to cover here. So yes, I'm writing a book right now. Yes. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to the end of February, just focusing. I just took a group from GEV over here, and it'll be done in the 2nd. Yeah, so I'm halfway through the book. I really want to get this finished, but I'm doing so much service. It's very hard to concentrate on writing a book when I'm just, And so we have 20 meetings a week online. We have 3 Spanish speaking. Yeah, we have 3 Spanish speaking meetings. We have.
How many people involved in this? Approximate.
So in our WhatsApp group, of course, you know how big WhatsApp groups can get. We have only 300 people. And I would say the regulars are about 100. And it's anonymous. I have to say it's 100% anonymous. Anyone you see here, this is what we say in the meetings, what you see, who you see here, what you hear here, stays here. It's highly confidential. And
but you have physical meeting when you say this. Your meeting when we're saying here, or could be on WhatsApp. You say no.
We do it on Zoom. We do on Zoom.
Okay. But can be also physical. You do when you are in New York.
We have You
have a place where people can come.
So it's like this. We have, at the moment, a physical meeting on Wednesdays in Philadelphia at the Bhakti Tree. I think it's called the Bhakti Tree.
Bhakti Tree.
In Philadelphia. So there's on Wednesday evenings, there's a meeting there. If anyone's in Philadelphia and want to drop by, Wednesday at 7:30. Great meeting, strong recovery, strong Krishna consciousness. It's an amazing, solid meeting. We have an in-person meeting in Philly. We have an in-person meeting in Alachua, Florida, who's run by a very dear devotee. I can't say his name because I don't want to break his anonymity. I know he doesn't mind getting his anonymity broken, but I won't do it. It's not I can't do that. We have a website, www.bhaktirecoverygroup.com.
So people can contact you there.
Yes. We are a nonprofit. Bhakti Recovery Group. .com. We, our nonprofit organization is called the Jiva Daya Foundation. It's the best name ever.
Anybody can contribute whatever they want.
Yeah, and I have to say, we're really dedicated. I gave up my work. I used to work for an Italian company, Gucci. I think you know. I used to work for Gucci, and Ralph Lauren. I worked for years. So I gave up my work to do this service because I believe in it.
Absolutely.
And I just have a lifetime of service. This is my service. There's nothing else that I'm going to do. There's nothing else I want to do. And sometimes, like, Kastuba is a very good friend of mine. And sometimes he tells me that he is. And I think I drive him crazy. He's like, I think he thinks I'm like an elephant in a ceramic shop, just like stomping around. It's like, I'm going to do it and you're going to get out of my way. Like, I have to learn to just sort of wind down that Rajasic passion. So 20 meetings a week. You can find all the meetings online. It costs, we are self-supporting through our own contribution. It does not cost anything. You can join the meetings. The direct Zoom link is there. We have special programs that are, in order for us to fund all of this, we have to make certain programs that are paid for. Like I'm starting a group, a sponsorship group of a group of people who I go through the 12 steps with to go deeper and deeper. And we do that, and that's like a donation based program, so that I can feed it into the Jiva Daya Fund. Recovery should be free, but we are also very much in need of donations. We're kind of the forgotten bunch. Nobody really wants to.
Don't worry, Krishna will send you.
I hope so. I hope so.
The people who are listening today, those who want to contribute, they're welcome to contribute.
Yes, thank you.
Jiva Daya life.
Yes. So, so the bhakti part. So how did bhakti come into all this?
Once the people that get clean up, let's say, in a sense, they are aware, awakened to spirituality. How you introduce your chanting of the Holy Name, or reading the Bhagavad Gita, or some group which can help them spiritually.
Okay.
Because now you go to, you went to the washing machine, you clean up everything, then you go to the dryer, so your clothes, and then you go to the ironing, I'm just saying. So, for example.
So a regular traditional 12-step program, they just encourage you to find the God of your understanding, period. So if you're in a regular AA meeting or a regular Narcotics Anonymous meeting, or they have Codependents Anonymous. We have Adult Children of Alcoholic and Dysfunctional Families Anonymous. We have Overeaters Anonymous. You have Marijuana Anonymous. You have Gamblers Anonymous. You have Sex Anonymous.
Computer Anonymous.
We have we have Social Media Anonymous. We have all of them. There's all across the board. But the Bhakti Recovery Group, we take all of it because we see that
they're all spiritual.
Yeah, and that was just, those were our solutions, not our problems. That was the manifestation of our problem. Yes. And as we experienced them as maybe a very poor solution to a very, very big God-sized hole inside of us. And we're stuffing it with stuff. Addictions and artas. So
many lifetimes.
It is. It goes back long lifetimes. So it's work.
It takes time.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna BS anyone. I mean, the thing is it's not like, it's never a one and done. People seem to think it's a one and done. It's not. It's a lifelong commitment every single day.
Process which goes on forever.
Exactly.
You will not find any devotee you say, I reach.
Yeah, of course.
No, you say, I'm stupid, I still don't understand anything.
Yeah, it's true.
Even though they're very elevated, nobody will admit. I mean, because there are unlimited knowledge.
And unlimited layers of our conditioning. Unlimited. The moment I get rid of a layer, I'm like, oh, that was great. And then I'm like, oh my God, there's another one. Oh my God, there's another one. And so when this day in Berlin, when I realized that the jig was up and that I surrendered, God came in my life very strong. God didn't have a name. I didn't have a bead bag in my hand. I had no idea who God was, but I knew he was in my heart, and nothing, anyone can do or say to get that away. That was God's hand. It was God's hand. And the most fascinating thing is that the way I feel, the way God touches me, never changed. No matter, even when there's a picture of Krishna or Lord Chaitanya, or it's always the same. There's just a little sometimes difference with the feminine and the masculine. I get different faces. I have a lot of Marys in my room, in my house. I love Mother Mary. She's one of my favorite deities. She's worshipable. Her bhakti is worshipable. So I hit a really bad bottom in my recovery at some point, even with the God consciousness and all of this, and I hit some really hard times. I was clean and sober for 17 years. I had a family. I had a husband. I had money. I had a Rolex. I had diamond earrings. I had everything. It was great. Really nice cars, everything. I had it all. And I was miserable. And I was in a very unhealthy relationship. My addiction turned into a horrible codependency with my husband, who was perfectly good man, but also sick, like me, diseased. We have diseased brains. That's just how it is. And our relationship, I couldn't grow in this life in that relationship. I think differently now as a devotee, but that was before I was a devotee. So we got divorced, and I fell into a deep, dark depression. And we're talking like dark. We're talking planning on hanging myself, and convinced, like absolutely convinced, my children, the world, and everyone would be happy without me. Like, this was convinced. I was like, what do my kids need? A mother like me? I'm useless. I can't even function anymore. And I'm like highly functioning professional, just like very, I'm an addict. And when, my addiction.
Whatever you do, you go.
I do, yeah. When I do it, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, get out of my way, So I just didn't know what to do anymore. And before, I was literally one day, and it happened this way. I got up and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the hardware store. I'm going to get the rope. I'm going to get the stuff. I'm going to do it. And for some reason, I didn't. And I texted on Facebook, Kostuba. And I said, Kostuba, how are you? I just don't know why. It was like super random. I hadn't spoken to him, and like the last message was like 10 years previous, and then he's like, hey, how you doing? And we just started talking back and forth, and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about taking some yoga classes, and I know you're a devotee, and and he was like, oh, that's excellent. And then I started just kind of just get in touch with. That was it. So for a while that was it. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do yoga. And if it's okay, if it works, I'll be happy. If not, I'm going to kill myself afterwards. So ridiculous if I think about it now. I'm going to do yoga, and then if that doesn't work, I'm going to hang myself. So sorry, I'm laughing. I'm sorry for laughing by this. So I started taking yoga I started to take yoga teacher training, an 800-hour yoga teacher training with Hatha Yoga, where you had to learn everything. You had to learn Sanskrit, you had to learn the Gita, it was like real yoga, like not some asana fitness class. I never wanted something like this. And I started to just really get into, we got into the Bhakti chapter, and I was like, oh my God. And I started reading, and I was like, this is like the 12 steps. This is the 12 steps. And it just, through the Gita, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Like, oh my God.
Revealing to you everything.
Yeah, 1858, that's the 11th step, right there. I am your dear friend, Krishna, and this, and boom, and boom. And then I talked to Kostuba again, and then we started meeting online. He saved my life, actually. We started meeting online, and he started reading with me the Gita once a week. And then it just got deeper, and they invited me to come to New York and to meet Maharaj Radhanath Swami. And I told him that I'm in a 12-step, and I told him about everything. And I had already started one little meeting in Munich. I was living in Munich at the time. And I started this one little yoga bhakti AA thing, and I didn't know much, but what I did know, I knew like a couple of verses that really went together, and I just started to offer that. And then COVID hit. And like a few years later, COVID hit. And I took it online. And then Wisdom of the Sages, of course. See, I wouldn't be here without Raghu and Kastuba. They are my teachers. They are my family. Now they are my family. Kastuba is my family. Raghu too. So it's like, and they really wanted me to continue with the Bhakti Recovery Group, and they supported me so much. They're always saying it on the podcast. They're just, and they've just treated me. They believed in me where I could not believe in myself, and they got me to where I'm at. And I just want to give that back. So.
Somebody said the leader is a person who's seeing you something that you can become better than them. Because they see a potential in you, and they push you in the right direction.
And I never believed that. I remember crying at Kastuba's feet. I was like, I'm never going to be a devotee. I'm just too moochy. I'm dirty. I've got dirty thoughts. It's like this. And I was like, how am I ever going to do this? How am I ever going to, how am I ever going to get those layers off? How is that ever possible? And then Kastuba just looked at me. He's like, I believe you can do that, Jiva. You can. And I'm so grateful to them. Just so grateful. So came online. So a meeting, just can tell you really quickly what it looks like in case people are curious. A meeting is we meet. We start with a serenity prayer, which is, Krishna, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And then we we do 3 Mahamantras together, everyone. And then we go into the preamble and how it works. We read the steps, we read the preamble, and we read the situation about where we're in, basically. It takes a couple minutes. And then we dive into a 12-step literature. We open the meetings for people to share. And then we go into a Gita verse or nectar of instruction. Each meeting has a different topic. So I do my meetings. I do all various 12-step readings, and I do it with the Gita, because the Gita is my book. Like, that's the book I stick with. It's just simple. And so we talk about that too. So then we open it up to share about that. And so we bring the Gita, we bring the steps and our experience, strength, and hope, and we share that with each other in a meeting format, which is so, so important to have the association.
I have is that after you do this 12-step recovery, how much time it takes, I don't know. Could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't know. But will people stick with you and connect with you afterwards, even though they're awakened and they become aware of this and they change their life? How you keep in touch with them, or how you have a group on WhatsApp? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah. This is a good question. So, you never recover.
No, we keep on.
So the thing is this: when people ask me, "You've been sober for 28 years. Why do you keep going to meetings?" And I tell them, I've also been taking a shower for 28 years. Should I stop doing that now?
Every day.
Yeah. Should I stop that? I do it because it works. Why should I give up something that doesn't work? So the people who are dedicated, they come. They come because they know their ass depends on it. Excuse my language. Well, they are devotees. Most of them are devotees. I mean, everyone is a devotee.
Just don't know.
Yeah, but these are people who have already given their life to Krishna. So these are, like, let's say, beginning devotees. We have advanced devotees. We have Prabhupada disciples. We have all kind of different people. But everyone knows, because we use Krishna as God. As in an AA meeting or any other 12-step meeting, they don't. So that's what makes us different. So it's a special interest meeting. We're writing our own literature. I'm writing this literature right now. so that I don't have
Don't
to
forget to
keep.
give me a book when you finish.
Yes, of course you get one. And and it's like it's our sangha, and we just do stick together. I do retreats. I'm starting to do more retreats. I'm going to do
Some people come with you in the group.
exactly.
Ladies that travel to the
Exactly.
Georgie, we're reaching almost the time
Perfect.
of end of our podcast, and I wanted to ask you whether you like to give a message to all the people who are listening to our Radio Mayapur podcast today, and also how they can reach you.
Okay, so there are two things. I also have a podcast called the Bhakti Recovery Podcast.
Okay.
So once a week, it's on Mondays. It's you can
Send me the link.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
So I'll share it.
You can always get in touch with me at bhaktirecoverygroup@gmail.com. And I would answer you immediately. Or we have a team of
People.
incredibly devoted Savites who have also given so much because they've received so much. And that's how we do in the Bhakti Recovery Group. We give freely what was so freely given to us. And so that's how it works. So get in touch with us there. Write us an email. Write me an email. If you want to get in touch with me personally, just put it at Jiva. I think my assistant will kill me. I'm supposed to know all of these things. And I'm useless.
We are not using sometimes.
It's Jiva at Bhakti Recovery Group at gmail.com. I don't know. Just put Bhakti Recovery Group at gmail.com. I don't know my own one.
And what is the message for the audience of today's podcast? What is from your heart?
And I have so many messages. But right now, only thing I can think of is all we have to do is suit up and show up, and Krishna will just give us tenfold. We just need to show up. And if we're thinking that this doesn't pertain to us, or that that recovery is only for people with drugs and alcohol, it is not.
It's for everybody.
It's for everybody. And that's what the Bhakti Recovery Group is there for, to open it up so that people can have something really easy and tangible and simple to work through their anartas.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Krishna.
I'm so glad that you came today.
I'm so glad you invited me. Thank you so much.
It was a beautiful time to be with you, and I'm sure that everybody will appreciate this podcast and they will be in touch, because ultimately Bhakti is a purificatory stage where we're going through from Sadhu Sangha to Prema. There is so many stages, and we have to start at one point, wherever it is, and then it's nice that you are able to, like Jesus say, become a fisher of man. You're throwing your net, and you get so many people who are wanting to change their life, because everybody is anchoring for mercy and love, true love, not just physical, not just sentimental. And
But
that love can be only when we are connecting our heart with the Supreme.
Service, clean house. Clean house, do service, trust God.
That's all we need. Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare
It was
Krishna.
wonderful to be with you.
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.
Gaura Premanande.
Gaura Premanande.
Nityananda Prabhu ki
Jai.